We are just going to start out this morning with a little meditation, and it's a choose your adventure meditation. So feel free to get up on a pillow and sit in an easy seat. You can also lay down with your head on a pillow, lay down with your pillow beneath your knees. If you want a very gentle back opener first thing, um, one that doesn't require that much warm up, you can take the pillow to your base of your spine, as long as it's a very squishy pillow and it's very low to the ground. And as long as your back's feeling good today, you can always just feel it out. You can take a pillow lengthwise to the base of your spine and slowly lay down onto it. And if this is too much first thing in the morning, take any of the things I just mentioned before. Child's pose with the knees on the pillow, or anything in between. I'm going to start in a seat so that I can continue talking to you and you can hear me. But find your opening meditation posture. And then just drop in. Rather than closing the eyes right away, we're going to practice something called soft gazing, where you just attach your attention to the space in front of you. And as you look, imagine softening your gaze so you can see what's in your peripheral vision as well as what's in the front, directly in front of you. Or another way to think of this is imagine you're looking at a puppy or something really cute, and it's just making your eyes soften. Begin to listen and hear the sounds around you. Begin to use your nose to pick up on the temperature of the air, the texture of the air. Slowly we begin to soften through the back of the neck. Slowly we allow the shoulders to sink down the spine. The belly becomes soft. The feet unflex. The jaw unclamps. The brows unfurrow. The tongue rests on the bottom of the mouth. Like a catfish in a pond. And we begin to observe the breath. Allow it to be what it is here. Remembering to keep your gaze soft in the spot in front of you. Take a moment to observe how deeply is my breath traveling into me. How long are my breaths? How short are my breaths? Do my breaths feel stressed? Are they effortless? If your breaths already feel effortless this morning, I commend you. That is not where I'm coming into practice today. And if you're not coming into the practice with your breaths super long and soft and perfectly balanced, do not feel alone. But after we take a moment to observe where the breath is, we can begin to slowly augment it. Starting by releasing just the next breath you catch, release that breath. Allow it to completely empty from your body. holding the breath out for a moment. And we'll breathe in slowly. Slowly, and allow your breath to be long. Imagine that your breath is a submarine traveling deep into you. Allowing your exhale to be effortless. Allowing your inhales to be soft and flowing. Just letting your body do what it knows how to do instinctively. Allowing the parasympathetic nervous system to kick in. If your eyes are still open, feel free to close them here, but imagine continuing that soft gaze on the inside of your eyes. Take another moment here to relax through the body. I'm not giving you too much direction in the mental part of the brain with this here. Just allowing you to be curious about where you're coming into the practice today. If you have any emotions on your mind, try not labeling them as bad or good. Just allow them to be, allowing it all to be, but just with the added sprinkles of extra attention to the breath. Imagine your breath is like water and that your body is a glass that you are continually refilling and releasing. So that the breath is traveling from the bottom of your belly all the way up the spine, filling up your belly, filling up your side body, and really focus on filling up your back with breath, especially if you're laying on the ground. It's like your body's an accordion and you're inflating one side, and then you want to make sure you're inflating the other side too. Feel yourself growing heavier and heavier into the ground. Feel your mat rising up to support your body. Notice the spots where your body makes contact with the earth. If there's anything annoying in the background of your mind or environment, try not to think of it as annoying. See it as just a challenge for your own mindfulness, maybe an opportunity to develop more patience or tolerance. Travel deeper into yourself. Accept whatever that may be within your environment as something that always is and always has been. Not something that you need to get up and go fix or change. Let's allow ourselves to be present in this moment by treating it as if it were permanent. And then I'll leave you just in silence for about a minute. Close the eyes, soften everything. And just imagine yourself sinking into your mat, getting heavier and heavier, sinking into the earth. Allow your breath to begin filling your body once again with more intention. If you're sitting up, begin to slowly wiggle the fingers and toes. And actually, if you're laying down as well, begin to wiggle the fingers and toes. Maybe you feel a smile start to grace your lips. Maybe you tuck the chin just a little bit and feel a stretch in the back of the neck. And then finally, wherever you are, blink the eyes open and stretch the hands overhead. Taking the deepest breath you've taken all day, maybe it triggers a yawn. And then we're all going to come to meet flat on our backs. So if you're sitting up like I was, just join me down on the ground. Take out your ponytail or your hair clips. Feel the head laying flat against the ground. Feel it wide against the ground. We'll point the toes and stretch the hands up and overhead, pulling the shoulder blades together, opening up through the heart. And we'll exhale, take the left knee into the chest. Tuck the knee into the chest with the hands, keeping the right back of the calf glued to the ground. We're going to use the hand on the knee and just draw ourselves a couple circles here, clockwise. Maybe you feel it as a little massage, glute. And then reverse the circle. Feel the ground on the lower back, on the sits bone. I'll pull the knee back into the chest once again. And we're just going to go ahead and straighten the leg here. Interlace the hands behind the thigh. Flex and point the toe a couple times. And then we'll do a circle with the ankle one direction, a circle with the ankle in the other direction. If you're super flexible, maybe you try moving the hands a little higher up the calf. Flex the foot here, get a hamstring stretch. And sometimes it can be good to experiment with not going as far as you possibly can. First thing. We're going to take on the hands on the leg. And we're slowly going to draw the leg towards the right, just like about 6 inches to the right. It's a really micro movement, but you should feel the stretch on the outer side of the left leg. And then we're going to take the leg towards the left. Take it towards the left until you feel a stretch of the inner thigh. We can always do this with the knee bent. Notice the difference in flexibility from side to side. We'll take the knee bent once again into the chest. Right hand on the left knee. We'll slowly draw the left knee across the chest towards the right side of the room. Extend the left hand towards the left side of the room. Keep both shoulders on the ground, and we'll take a deep breath in here. And exhale, soften everything into the earth. Softening through the neck. Inhaling. And exhaling. Maybe using your left hand or your right hand on the inside of your left leg. Imagine so your hands laying over your outer left thigh. And use your fingers to get a hold of the back of the left thigh and just draw the foot up and down the mat a couple times to the ground. See how this changes the stretch for you. And then we'll come back through center, taking the left knee into the chest once again. We'll straighten the leg. And then we're just going to take a quick second here in reclining pigeon. Just kind of getting the hips ready for full pigeon later on and some other hip stretches. So we're going to bend the left knee. We're going to bend the left ankle. We're going to place the left ankle on top of the right thigh. Bend the right knee. We're going to take the left hand, thread it through this hole we've created between the two legs. Interlace the hands behind the back of the right thigh or over the right shin. And then with both feet flexed, we're going to use the hands on the right leg to pull the right knee in towards us just a bit as we use the muscles of the left leg to push away from our body with the left knee. Soften the shoulders into the ground if you can. Take a deep breath in here. And release it through the mouth. If this is too intense for you straight off in the morning, you can always take this pose close to a wall. And instead of holding your right thigh, you could just press the right foot into the wall with your hips scooted farther away from the wall. And just as you open up, you can scoot in closer towards the wall to increase the stretch. Rock just a bit back and forth here, side to side. A micro rock. And then we'll release the legs. Maybe draw another circle in either direction with the left knee. And then we'll stretch the left leg out. Inhale, hands up and over the head just to clear out the system. And we're going to exhale, walk the hands towards the left, walk the feet towards the left. We'll catch a hold of the left hand with the right, or actually the right hand with the left, and we'll cross the right ankle over the left. We're just going to pause here. Take a deep breath into this right side body. Side stretch and exhale. Walk the feet over towards the right and the hands over towards the right this time. Take a side stretch here, maybe crossing the left ankle over the right this time. Then we'll come back to center. We're going to take the same thing on the other side. So right knee into the chest. We're just doing a little warm up with the legs. And we're going to draw circles towards the left with the right knee. We'll draw circles towards the right with the right knee. Just notice if there's any spots that feel a little more tight, and maybe you can pause there and go a little deeper. Trying to keep both the hips on the ground during this, but it's okay. The right hip comes up a bit here and there. And then we'll straighten the right leg, interlace the fingers behind the right thigh. Flex the right foot, maybe draw a circle in either direction with the right foot. Then we'll walk the hands up the right leg just a bit. Try drawing the right foot a little bit, like 6 inches towards the left, keeping both the hips on the earth. Feel where the stretch changes. Coming through center, take the right foot a little bit towards the right. Just take the foot towards the right until you feel a stretch in your right inner thigh. Opening up just a bit through the hip. And we'll take the reclining pigeon on the other side. Cross the right ankle over the left knee. Flex the feet, bring the left knee in towards the body until you can interlace the fingers behind the left thigh or the left shin. And then we'll press away from the body with the muscles of the right thigh. Just do a little bit of rocking here if you want to. Re-soften your gaze and reconnect to the breath here. Soften the shoulders against the ground. Sometimes the shoulders like to peel up off the ground because the stretch can be really intense. And kind of go into a mini fetal position, but just soften the shoulders on the ground. Tell your body, through body language, that it's okay to relax here. Okay, and we'll slowly release. Draw a couple circles with that right knee. Then we'll take a little happy baby here, grabbing either the ankles or the outer edges of the feet. Really imagine flattening the lower back to the ground here. We'll straighten the right leg out towards the right, then bend the right leg once again and straighten the left leg out towards the left. Bend it again, rock a bit back and forth, and just take a moment here while staying connected to your breath to find a little play. We can acknowledge that happy baby is a silly pose. And there's nothing wrong with being silly every once in a while in the privacy of your own home. We can straighten both the legs, or maybe we won't if we're feeling kind of tight today. You could even do a little foot massage here, a quick little 2-second foot massage on either foot. Just get the blood flowing everywhere you can. Maybe you massage the ankles just a little bit. And then you'll stretch the hands overhead. And instead of rocking up to a seat, we're just going to allow ourselves to flop over to one side. Find a fetal position, a true fetal position on the ground this time. And soften here. Just take a moment to totally relax as if you're laying in bed. And then we'll press the left hand into the earth. Take the upper body off the earth, and we'll take the right elbow directly below the right arm. Feel free to pad the right knee or the right hip with the pillow you have at your disposal. And we'll just feel the back adjust to this pose here. When you inhale, take the left hand up and over the body. And exhale, take the left hand back through center. And here, something maybe a little unexpected, but we're going to just introduce a little bit of warmth into the hip. Don't worry, this is going to be over very fast. That's, I promise. And you also don't have to do it if you don't want to. But we're going to just do a couple of these clamshells here. We're going to take the right foot flex, or the left foot flex. Sorry, I got my left and rights mixed up for a second there. And we're just going to do a couple circles with the left hip. We're just going to introduce some warmth into that left lower back and left glute before we stretch it out really good. Continue with your circles here. Feel the heat begin to build in the left leg and notice where it's building. Let's stay pressing into that right forearm, keeping our neck nice and long and graceful, because the rest of this pose is so graceful to begin with. And then we're going to reverse the circles. If you get really tired here, it's okay to stop. This is not a class that's about building crazy muscles, but I do believe in warming up muscles strength-wise before we stretch the heck out of them. Stay connected to your breath. Try to find a rhythm here. Just a couple more circles. Wonderful. And then we'll extend the leg once again. Come to lay with our low belly on the pillow. plant both of the hands in front of us with the elbows directly below the shoulders. And we'll press into the forearms. Imagine pulling our chest through those forearms. And we'll just take a Sphinx pose here. Inhale, peeling the chest up towards the sky, keeping the chin relaxed. Then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to switch orientation so you can continue to see me. But just roll over so that now your left elbow is on the earth. Make sure the elbow is directly below the left shoulder. Support the left hip with the pillow. If you're like me and rubbing your hip bone on the ground doesn't feel amazing, we'll just take a couple circles on the other side. This is the only real active portion of today's practice. Don't lose the breath here. Continue to send the breath deep into the low belly as you just allow the heat to generate. Maybe you get a couple clicks and pops. If the circles are really not working for you, you can always just raise and lower the right knee. Just continue. Keep pressing up out of the left elbow so we're not just collapsing into it with the ear pressing into the shoulder, but we're being very graceful here. And then we'll switch directions with the right leg. Just notice which side is harder. Soften into the discomfort of this. It's not bad. We're just going to do a few more. Hopefully you switched sides earlier or switched directions of the circle. Okay, in 3, 2, 1, roll back through center. Press the forearms into the ground, pull the chest through the arms, press into the pubic bone in the legs. Inhale, Sphinx. And exhale, we will press back with the knees as wide as the mat into a child's pose, extended child's pose with the hands wide and in front. And then from here, we'll come up onto the hands and knees. Feel free to pat a knee with the pillow here. And we're just gonna do, we're gonna get into the meat of the practice here. So first we're gonna warm up the wrist just a bit, taking circles in either directions with the fingers spread really wide apart. And then we'll reverse the circles. Make them big or small, or any size in between. If you have pretty flexible wrists, maybe you try taking the hands and pointing the fingers towards either side of your mat, the outsides of your mat or the rails of your mat. Or maybe you take your fingers and point them in towards your body with the palms on the ground. And just feel the stretch here. Only go as far as you're comfortable to go here. You can take the knees closer to the hands to remove pressure from the wrist if this feels good, but just is too much. Or if you do this kind of thing semi-regularly, maybe you move the knees a little farther back away from the hands and lean the butt towards the heels a little bit. Come back through center. Slow motion, come off of one of the hands, shake out the wrist a bit. Come onto the knees, come off the other hand, shake that wrist out a bit as well. Come back through hands and knees. We'll take a couple of quick rounds of cat-cow, just to connect to the spine. Inhaling, dropping the belly, arcing the back, pressing through the heels of your hands and the fingers of your hands to the earth to find that last little bit of extension through the upper spine. And when you exhale and come into our howling cat, really press into the fingertips. Pull the chin towards the chest, look at the navel. You can make your cat and cow into a circular, a rotisserie cow, where you're sliding the belly through cat, coming all the way towards the left as we sliding the belly and cow. Really pressing up through the spine, slow motion, moving the body side to side as we flex the spine, in and out. And then we'll slowly find stillness. Take the right foot out behind us. Inhale, look ahead of us. And we're finally going to step our right foot into a low lunge. On the next breath you take in, make it a little extra long inside on the other side. We are going to completely soften into this low lunge. Rock a bit from side to side, taking the weight from the right hand and pressing it back into the left hand. Notice where you're feeling the stretch, because it can be different on different days. Is it in your left hip flexor? Is it in your right hamstring? Are you not feeling much of the stretch at all because you stretch all the time? So you walk your left knee just a bit farther back towards the back of your mat. Just take a second here and check it out. Just ask yourself with genuine curiosity, where am I at today? Where do I feel this today? We'll take the hands on the inside of that right foot, heel, toe, the right toes off the edge of the mat. We will tuck the left toes under and come up off that left knee. We'll ignore Bruce, the cat, who's on the screen. Lizard pose. How cute is this? Okay, sorry, I'll stop distracting us from yoga now. Take a deep breath. Allow the heart to shine towards the front of the room here. If lizard is too much, if this is not feeling good, feel free to come onto the knee once again. But if you're kind of hungry for a deeper stretch today, I really like lizard. If you just want to be that person today, maybe you take the left elbow to the ground followed by the right elbow. Maybe you get halfway down and you're like, nope, that's not happening today. Honor your body. Meet it where it's actually at. Let's settle into your pose. We're going to take 3 more long breaths here. Again, feel free to come onto that left knee if lizard's not working for you. So find your full extension of this pose today. And we're going to just be here for 3 slow breaths. Plant the left hand onto the earth. Inhale. Take the right hand up towards the sky. A little mini twist here. Take a deep breath in. And out. Maybe you draw a little rainbow over your head with your right hand. Maybe you add a little jazz figure to it, just for fun. Come back through center. Walk the hands back towards the left leg. We'll flex the right toes. Draw that right heel back in towards the center of the mat if you've lost it. And we'll try to straighten through the spine. You can even take a moment to notice here how you can curve your spine so much like this and get your head really close to your leg, but you feel way less of a stretch And if you straighten the spine, you stay right where you are without even bending down. Look ahead of you. Once again, rock your toes a little bit side to side. Imagine taking your right thumb and pulling your right hip crease back in space, and the hips are pretty square. Taking 3 slow breaths here. And then we'll plant the left hand once again on the earth, pull the right fingers to the sky. We're going to walk ourselves back into our low lunge, and then we'll transition into a pigeon pose. So if this doesn't feel good on your knees to do a pigeon pose like this, you can always go back to that reclining pigeon pose we did earlier in the practice. But we're going to heel toe our right foot towards the left side of the mat until it's far enough forward or far enough to that side that we can lay the right calf on the earth. And allow our hips to come down towards the mat. Flex both of your feet flex your front foot generously. You can flex your back foot. Maybe experiment with that. If you're having trouble keeping your hips balanced here, it's really helpful to just put a pillow below that raised hip. Add a layer of support. In fact, I kind of recommend that everyone do that just because we're going to hold this for a bit, but you know your body, and if this is okay for you, just trust it. Inhale, we'll look ahead of us. And exhale. If you want to try it, go ahead and come forward onto the elbows. Just trust your body here. Listen to your body. The elbows are not happening. Stay up on the hands. As long as you're feeling a stretch in the hip, you're doing the full pose. But if your elbows come to the earth, maybe make a little pillow with the hands and rest the head here. This is called sleeping pigeon. Feel the hip. It's a really intense stretch. Soften the breath. It can be helpful to visualize crystal clear water raining down on the hip, rinsing it out. We store a lot of emotions in our hips, and sometimes this visualization can be nice, helping you get a fresh start. Whatever feelings may be coming up for you here, just like the breath, observe them, accept them, and allow them to pass over you one by one. Attaching no deeper meaning to them, just allowing them to be. Sending deep breaths into the low belly, softening through the back, softening the tongue and the mouth, releasing any expression on the face. Again, if this doesn't feel good in the knees or the joints, take it on the back. Don't bear weight on your knee if it's not feeling good. Other than that, breathe into the discomfort. Go deeper in. Feel no fear. Trust yourself to listen to your body here. Maybe you try rocking a bit from side to side. If you're up on your hands, try rocking a bit side to side. And if you're on your hands, maybe you even try pulling that left knee just a half inch farther back down the mat than it already is to increase the stretch. And everyone is going to come onto the fingertips. Inhale, open the heart. And then we'll exhale, plant the palms. Bend the left knee. Don't put any weight on the right knee. We're just going to take the right knee out behind us and do a couple circles with the hip. Check it out. How does it feel different to you now than it did before? And then we'll replace the right knee back on the earth. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Left knee up behind us. Step the left knee up into a low lunge. Left foot up into a low lunge. And we'll come into our low lunge here. Now on this side, if you want to, feel free to ground down through the knee and the foot and come up through the arms. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Take the hands back to the earth. Stretching here. Noticing the difference between both sides. You can try walking that right knee just a tad bit farther down your mat if you're not feeling enough of a stretch. If you're feeling a great stretch, just continue to keep the back flat. Really focus on drawing the shoulder blades together and down the spine. Allow your heart to shine forward towards the front of your room. Soften through the chin. Just be here. We'll take 5 breaths slowly at our own pace. Allow your inhale to travel all the way down into wherever you're feeling the stretch. We'll plant the right hand on the earth. Inhale, draw the left hand out towards the sky. Twist. Take both hands on the inside of the left foot. Heel toe the left toes off the edge of the mat. Curl the right toes under, come up off the right knee. And we'll just take our lizard. Again, if it's in your practice, maybe you try taking the elbows to the earth. But if that's not where you're at today, it's certainly not where I'm at on this side today. Then just stay up on the hands, keeping the back flat. Take 3 slow breaths at your own pace here. Continue if you're on the hands to press into the fleshy part of the hand between the thumb and forefinger. And then we'll replace the right knee on the earth. Walk the hands back towards the knee. Straighten the left leg, flex the left toes. And we will take an intense hamstring stretch here. Keeping the back flat. If you tick-tock the left toes from side to side. Inhaling and exhaling. Maybe you try allowing the hips to not be square for a second and just twist your body ever so slightly to the right and left. Wherever you're at, settle in, find your edge, and take 3 slow breaths here. Softening the tongue and the mouth. Excellent. And we'll rock back into our low lunge and heel toe the left foot towards the right side of the room until maybe we can lower the left calf onto the earth. Flex through the left toes. Square-ish the hips. The hips don't have to be perfectly square by any means, but just imagine pulling that right hip towards the front of the room to where it feels like both of your hip points are shining in the same direction. Straighten the back, inhale. Again. Feels so free. Use this pillow below your hips. I like to do it at a diagonal where you have support underneath your right hip crease and then also under your left leg glute, basically. Find where you want to be for the next 5 breaths. And we'll take a deep breath in. And we will release it and settle in. On this side, just be with your body. If you're starting to think about a to-do list, imagine pinning it on the fridge of your mind. Or imagine using it as a bookmark to close a book and put that book on the shelf and say, I will be right back for you. But right now I'm going to take 5 breaths for myself and my practice. Fill the belly with breath. You can afford this time for yourself. We'll rock a bit from side to side. Inhale, pressing the fingertips, arch the back. Side it out. If you're ready to come out, it's always okay to stay in a pose for a little after we come out of it in class. But if you're ready to come out, we'll remove the pillow. Walk that right knee in up towards the front of the mat. Dump our weight into the right knee, and without putting any weight in the left leg, take the left foot out behind us and do a couple circles in either direction with that left. Wonderful. We're going to come to sit on our seats. Take the legs wide apart. We're just going to do a little wide-legged forward folding here. Flex the feet. Inhale. And exhale. Walk the hands forward. I highly recommend rocking a bit from side to side here. Feel how it changes the stretch. Feel where you feel a stretch. Next, we're going to have an option for a pretty advanced pose that you do not have to take the full expression of. We're just warming up for that. We're going to come back up into our seat for a second prep position for this pose by taking the feet together. You can always sit on a pillow here. Taking the feet together, looking down at the feet with the thumbs and the arches of the feet like maybe they're pages of a book. Inhale, heart forward, and exhale. Lean over these feet. Cobbler's pose, butterfly pose. Now, feel free to stay there or in the wide-legged forward fold. Or if you want to try kind of an advanced stretch, make sure you pat the knees either by doubling up on your mat like this, or by using a pillow, or maybe a pillow beneath both knees, depending on how flexible you are. We're just going to take the knees below us, obviously. We're going to take the knees apart, like as if we were going to do a wide-legged child's pose. Trying to find the best way to show this to you. Take the knees apart directly below the hips. flex the feet out. And we're going to sit the hips back, coming into a froggy pose here. So the trick here is to make sure that the calves are directly behind the knees. Oh, here is the way I will show you. So with the toes facing out, if you're up here and you're like, this is a crazy stretch for me, stay there. But the insides of the knees are on the ground. I have a really thick mat, so it's padded enough as just for, make sure you're padding these knees. And we're either going to come onto the forearms or stay on the hands, keeping the feet really flexed and the calves completely perfect. Like it should be so straight that you, if you were looking at like how you're looking at me now, how you can't see the rest of my leg from this angle. That's how it should be with your calves. And we'll just take a couple breaths here, keeping a lot of the weight in the hands at first, so you're not just dumping all this weight into your hips. But just take a moment here, meet yourself where you're at. If this feels good for you, maybe you do come onto the forearms here and sink the hips back. It's less about getting low in your front half and actually more about sinking back with your back half. Send breath here. Soften through the shoulders if they're clenching up towards your ears. Release into this posture. Sending breath into the hips. And then if you've had enough, we'll climb back up onto the hands. Allow the feet to come in towards each other. And slowly we'll walk the knees in towards center once again. And we'll take a child's pose here, just a classic child's pose. Whatever you did, it was the perfect thing for you to do today. We'll inhale, come up onto the knees, stretch the hands overhead. Then we're going to exhale for our final poses. We're going to take one more variation of the lunge. We're going to exhale without using the hands on the ground. We're just going to trust ourselves and step forward into a low lunge. Or if that felt terrible, you can still trust yourself and have your hands on the earth and come into the low lunge the way you usually do. And I'm actually going to start on the other side because it'll be easier for you to see. We're going to place weight in the left hand once again. We're going to take the right hand onto the right hip, and we're going to bend the left knee if possible. Feel free to pad the left knee here. But the weight should be on the thigh right over the left knee, not like balancing on this left kneecap, but coming far enough forward. So you have to be pretty flexible here so that the weight is not just on the top of the kneecap. And then we'll reach back with your hand, with your hand that you reached up into the twist with. And we're going to just reach back for this left foot and see if you can catch hold of the toes. This is just a for fun pose at the end, so if it's not happening, or if you need a strap, that's really great to practice this pose with, just a strap around the foot. Don't sweat it. But it's a really deep opening, at least for me, in the quad, so I thought I'd just throw it in here in case anyone's just craving that final opening. And then we'll come back through center. Maybe one more circle with the right knee. Come back onto the knees, step forward with the left foot, or just switch sides. And then we'll take that same stretch on this left side. So take a twist. For me, it's the left hand up towards the sky, right hand on the earth. Bend the right knee. And see if you can catch hold of the left toes See if you can catch hold of the right toes with the left finger. And if you can do this, then try straightening through the back. Try opening through the chest and drawing the shoulder blades together behind the back. Hold this for just a moment. And then we will slowly come out and come to lie on our backs here. Get your pillow set up. It's Shavasana time. If you'd like to make even Shavasana a leg stretchy pose, you can take the soles of the feet together and allow the knees to just fall gently apart. This is a great pose to do with blocks beneath the knees from the outsides in case the stretch does not feel amazing to you. And we're just going to soften through the belly. If you're in this reclining Baddha Konasana, it's called, just take a couple breaths with your legs like this, and then slowly release them, stretching them out towards the front of the room. Maybe take your shoulders off the ground and lay them back down again. Soften the backs of the hands on the earth. And just take a moment to notice here how your legs might feel different than they did at the beginning of practice, how the hips might feel different. Soften through the belly. Soften through the tongue and the mouth, skin of the face, through the shoulders, the chest, and the hips. Just let go here. For these last 2 minutes of class, once again, let go of a to-do list if it came back into your brain. Reconnect to the breath. Feel yourself getting so heavy into your mat. It's almost as if you could sink right into the earth. Imagine that the mat is just like a giant super Tempur-Pedic mattress that you're just sinking into. Feeling the back of the head spreading across the ground. Soften through the joints. Soften through the muscles of the base. Take 5 breaths at your own pace. Close out your own practice however you need to here. And I'll wake you up when it's time to say goodbye. Begin to deepen the breath. Wiggle the fingers and toes. Inhale, stretch the hands over the head. Move the tongue in the mouth. Bring the knees into your chest and give yourself one final hug here. We'll slowly come back up to seated and we'll meet with hands in prayer at the heart center. We'll take one more breath in together and exhale. Thank you for practicing with me today. Have a lovely day.